All right, guys, let's check out the most recent Seiko Shogun. This is the spb191, retail price of $1,350, using the caliber 6R35, which is going to have a 70-hour power reserve. So nice upgrade there. You can see here this is labeled as a 43. It's actually really close to like a 44. So it's pretty much the same as what the previous generation Shoguns were. This is just, they took a little break and they brought it back and they did some things. I feel like the finishing is a little bit better. They added the sapphire crystal, they added the date magnifier, and there's two colorways, the white one and then some other one that I don't really care about. I think it's black, but the white one, guys, the white dial. White dial. I love this white dial one. So I picked this up at Lucidos on my trip when I picked up my other watch. Anyway, so if you're interested in, well, Rolex or Seiko, because they have like some special edition ones or anything like that, I'm going to put a link down below to Lucidos, and you're going to want to reach out to Seba. She's the one that worked with me, and it was awesome. Like, you get super VIP treatment. They can probably ship the Seikos. I don't think that'll be a problem. She'd probably take pictures and communicate with you and show you the watch and everything like that. They even have a King Seiko there. If I have good enough pictures, I'll drop them at the end of the video so you can look at some of the other Seikos. They have a ton of different ones to choose from. All really cool. They had this one though, and it really drew me in, obviously. White dial, titanium, you know, Seiko Shogun, sapphire crystal, all the good stuff. So I splurged, I bought it. And to be honest with you, I didn't even like bother negotiating. I was just happy to be there and I really enjoyed the environment. I just said, yeah, I'll take it. So I paid retail $13.50, but really if you look online, I don't think there's very many deals on these to begin with. So I don't know that I would have been able to negotiate, at least with this model. Maybe some other ones, I don't know. So we already kind of covered one measurement. It is essentially a 44 millimeter, maybe a touch under, not much. And lug to lug, you're about 50 and a half, depending on where you grab that measurement. You have drilled lug holes there. You can see nice and brushed, and then an unsigned brushed clean crown. I kind of like the clean look because the dial is really clean too. It's only 13 millimeter thick. When I say only 13, keep in mind, most dive watches in the Seiko lineup are like 13 and a half or more. Even the SKX is actually thicker than this. 22 millimeter lug width here. You have a 7 millimeter screw down crown, 200 meter water resist. This is part of the Pro Specs lineup, so it does have all of those ISO certifications. In this configuration here, it weighs 98 grams. The black dial one, the other one that I don't really care about, comes with a titanium bracelet. That one's even more and it weighs more, obviously. I don't know why anyone would buy that. Sure, buy the bracelet later or whatever, but get the white dial, guys. This is the one that's killer. 120 click bezel. Now, it is a titanium bezel. It should have an aluminum bezel insert. You can see it's kind of like two-toned. It's a really dark black for the first 15, and then it switches over to kind of medium grayish colored. It's, depending on the light, is how it's going to look. But the bezel action is actually, it's reminiscent of a Seiko bezel. Obviously, it's a Seiko bezel. But being it's titanium, it's really light, so it has a unique feel to it. If you've ever handled a titanium diver and rotated the bezel, there's only a couple that I can actually think of that you're like, wow, this is actually titanium. Most all other titanium divers pretty much feel like this. The bezel just feels light and stuff, and it's because it is. Big question, does it line up? Well, no. It doesn't line up. It's a real Seiko, guys. Why would it line up? Jokingly, though, when my buddy Craig was there, he was checking out some other watches. I think he checked out a couple of Willards or something and some Turtles, and they lined up perfect. So, but they didn't have any other ones to choose from. This was a show and go right in the display cabinet, so I took it. I just liked it that much, guys, seriously. So, again, sapphire crystal, date magnifier, nicely done. It actually magnifies the date. I think I would leave it on there. I'm not going to take this one off. The big candy bar ones where it does the day and the date, I could take it or leave those. But when it's the date only and it's magnified like this, I'm pretty good with that. I think we covered most things on this watch. Now we're going to do a wrist shot, and we're going to, of course, do a lume shot, which is ridiculous lume. Before we do that, I want to zoom in and take a closer look at this dial, because Seiko's done pattern dials in the past. This time they went, I got a little smudger. This time they went with just a complete clean, it's not even gloss, it's just like a matte white dial. And it is a pressed dial. You can see the edges there. They did kind of like half like dark polish around the edges of the pressed indices, and they are deep filled lume. You have a nice handset, very sharp, clean, easy to read. This watch is super legible, obviously. It's just one of the reasons I like the white dials. But check out the finish. Nice polished, hard separation between the brushed and the polish. Very clean. Nice screw down case back. Made in Japan, 6R35. There's the serial number, sapphire crystal, titanium. Nice newer style strap. Has a nice articulation to the diver bends there, or whatever you call those. This metal keeper here is titanium, as is the tang and buckle. Check that out. Titanium. And you can tell when you like flip it around and stuff like that. There was in the past with some watches that were titanium, and I wasn't sure what the hardware was. They were probably stainless steel. This one you can clearly tell it's titanium because it's like it weighs nothing because there's not that much material there to begin with. So very easy to operate. You guys are familiar with that. You can hack and hand wind it and adjust the time and the date. No big deal. Let's pop it on wrist, see what it looks like on my 7¼ inch wrist. It's extremely comfortable because of that 98 grams. And yes, it's a little bit larger watch at 44 by 50 essentially. But again, that Seiko magic, it just wears super comfortable to begin with. It's been a while since I've handled the Shogun. I can't remember if it was the SBDC007 or the SBDC029, but back in the day, they were still like around $1,000-ish, even back then. And Shogun came out in like 2009, and it ran, I think, a little bit past 2015. And then I think they took some time off, at least a few years off. So then this one and the other color dial one, black dial, came out in like 2020, so just last year. And I was like, at some point, I'm going to see the white dial Shogun. I just didn't want to spring for it then. But I really like this new style strap too. It flows around the wrist much better. It's not weird looking. It actually contours really nice around the wrist. Again, I want to show it next to the Seamaster. They're really close in size, and they present about the same on wrist. So that's another option. If you're looking to try to save up and buy the Shogun, or excuse me, the Seamaster. Obviously, it's no Seamaster. No, it doesn't compete with it. But it is a white dial diver. You know, it's much more affordable, easy to go ahead and pick one up. So, you know, I don't advocate substituting, but you can temporarily put a place card in there and probably not lose a ton of money. I mean, I'm going to take a flipper hit on this. I'm going to pay a flipper tax if and when I ever go to sell this for sure. Paying full retail, yeah, I'm going to take a hit on it, but I'm going to enjoy it while I have it. That's for sure. Let's kill the lights and check the lume on this bad boy. It's going to be impressive. I already checked it out earlier. Yeah. So you can see that trains. Actually, you can even see it right there. Like it's darn near like the SBBN Tuna Bright, where it actually kind of, you see it like reflect on the backside of the crystal on edges and stuff like that. It like illuminates so much underneath the crystal that you actually feel like it's glowing all the way around. The lume on this is killer. It's no joke. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Big thanks to Seba over at Lucidos. I'll see you guys in the next vid.